And that is the good news for Chelsea. Back into the top four, remember, top five could well be enough for Champions League football next season. And Chelsea back on the climb again after a difficult spell over Christmas and the start of the new year. How convincing were they, Jamie Carragher?
They were in the end. I think there was a spell certainly in the first half. They were pretty dominant, I would say, first sort of 20-25 minutes. Then they allowed Wolves to get back into the game. Wolves get that goal mistake from the goalkeeper. And at the start of the second half, you're not quite sure how it will go. The atmosphere felt a little bit flat, you know, in the stadium, maybe on the back of the run that they're on at the moment, Chelsea. But I think as soon as we went 2-1, I didn't think we really felt at any stage in that Chelsea wouldn't win the game. Do
you think the atmosphere has been a little bit of a problem for Chelsea this season?
At home, yeah, because I think there are more vocals, you know, away from home, the fans, more supporting, you know, their teams and their players. And I agree, you know, it was quite a little bit quiet, you know, tonight at Stamford Bridge.
But is this a big step in the right direction? Not maybe in terms of the performance, but in terms of the result, the confidence they might be able to take from that?
It was not the best performance so far from Chelsea, but at least they got the 3 points, thanks to the defenders.
Yeah, indeed. Tossing with the first one. Let's have a look at it. It comes from the corner, as you said, and Wolves have had real problems keeping these out this season. This is the 18th they conceded.
Yeah, it's just a mess. Listen, it's a different manager with the same group of players. It's a little bit unfortunate. I think a lot of the time when a set piece comes on, a big part of it is getting the first contact, and Wolves do that. And more often than not, you clear your lines there, but it's not a great header. But you can see his own side. This is what VAR is for. It's just Cunha at the back post. I think his heel just plays toast.
So as an attacking player, is it just a sharpness in terms of organisation? Once you've cleared your lines, get out?
Yeah, I mean, it's just that he's deeper initially because I think he's marking the front space, so he just doesn't get out quick enough. But it's always a difficult one, that really. It's difficult when you've got to go out really quickly in a short space of time to all be exactly in the same line. We
criticised Robert Sanchez at half-time for the way he dealt with Wolves' equalising goal. Do you think he might have learned a big lesson tonight?
Yeah, because a couple of minutes before this corner, you know, he took the right decision. He punched the ball, and he should have done the same on this corner because he was surrounded by players. He was very close to his own line, so he took, for me, a risk, and he should have punched the ball. Definitely.
Is it easy sometimes for the goalkeeper, though, just to get dragged into almost the scrap that's going on around him and start trying to get players out of the way?
Of the Wolves player, you know, so...
Santi Bueno at the near post.
So don't take a risk, just punch the ball, you know. He did it right before that, you know, on the corner or set pieces. He did it brilliantly, so I don't know why he changed his mind.
Every goalkeeper's got this problem now on every set piece. I don't think I see any team with a corner now and not trying to get round the goalkeeper. I mean, in the past when we were playing, there's always been one player by the goal, maybe the striker of the opposition team.
And the challenge of the goalkeeper was different, you know, back in the days.
Yeah, but now it feels like there's 2 or 3 players around the goalkeeper.
So we always used to say, catch it if you can.
Yeah.
Are we changing that advice to goalkeepers now then? Because of
I think it was more of the case as he was almost going backwards into the goal. It was almost felt like he was going to have to keep it, even if he'd have caught it, he's almost been trying to keep it out of the line. And I just think in that situation now, I think that probably is the best advice for goalkeepers, as he did on the next corner just before half-time, especially with the amount of bodies in the 6-yard box now.
So Wolves probably on the up going into that half-time interval, and we wondered what we were going to get from Chelsea. How did they get the goal that was all-important, Jamie, to put them 2-1 up?
Well, if you remember when we looked at Wolves under the new manager and we highlighted the system that he was playing, but also the adventure he wanted from his wing-backs. And the situation they find themselves here is that the 2 wing-backs, Aït-Nouri, who obviously started on the left, but after about 15-20 minutes of the first half, got moved on to the right, and Semedo went from the right to the left in the same situation in the first half. There's your 2 wing-backs on the both sides of the pitch. So, I mean, that's not great, but you just see the situation now, and we mentioned in the first half the system that Chelsea are playing. Brilliant from Caicedo. And then before you know it, Cucurella's in this position. Aït-Nouri's almost thinking that the man on the ball's not going to lose the tackle to Caicedo and he can run in behind. So already the goal scorer for Chelsea is ahead of him. And then you go back to that system that we talked about earlier on as well, where you've got those players here, there. So you've almost got Caicedo deeper, Dewsbury Hall, Cucurella and Cole Palmer ahead of him. And that's the system that teams are now playing against teams that play this system of 5-2-3. So before you know it then, that's your centre-back going out. And already you can see the problem here at the back post. Aït-Nouri's in between, Cucurella's in between Aït-Nouri and the other centre-back there, Doherty there. So they're out of position, but he still get back into the back five. But listen, credit to the manager. He's actually put Cucurella in this position, in this high number 8 position on the left. He scored a winning goal, I think, a few weeks ago at home. But what's going to happen here is when you see Aït-Nouri just come back, I think he thinks he's done his job.
It's too easy.
He just slows down now. You know, you sprint back, you think you're back in, and these are the details that make a difference. They're fighting for their lives, Wolves here. Fighting for their lives, Emmanuel.
It's too easy, you know. They were one, you know, they were drawing you at this moment, so it's too easy to come back. And Iraola, you know, the Wolves manager, must have been very disappointing. He talked about the lack of balance of this team, especially in transition when they lose the ball. This is exactly what happened. The commitment when you go back to your goal to protect your defense and your goalkeeper, you're 1-1. So everything can happen in this game. And you're coming back like this, you have to give everything, you know. The commitment is not there on this occasion.
They still needed to put a little bit of headroom between themselves and Wolves. Only 1 goal in it at that stage. And lovely moment this for Trevor Chalobah.
Yeah, I mean, but listen, you talk about Wolves against set pieces again. I mean, the record is shocking. And the goalkeeper, I must say, the goalkeeper's been awful all season for Wolves. He really has. Finds himself in no man's land. But Chalobah thinks he's got the goal. Look, he's there. And we just take it back now. Sorry, I think I just missed it on this angle. You just see the reaction of Chalobah. He's actually wanting. So you just see the man who heads it. Just keep an eye on him. Keep an eye on him as it's going in.
It's my goal.
So he's going to get it, but just keep an eye on him. He starts looking at the lines. Look, he's checking, he's claiming, he's either wants it offside or he doesn't. Yeah, if he's not going to get the goal, he's not going to get it. But I think we'd all say, wouldn't we, in that situation, just make sure it's a goal. Be careful you don't get caught offside. That's always the worry.
Jimmy,
you think he should have left it?
Of course. But that's the difference between...
It might not have gone in.
No, come on. That's the difference between defenders and strikers, you know. Strikers is all about stats, you know. And they're quite selfish on the pitch all the time. I'm happy for Madueke, you know. He scored, fair enough. But I think he should have let the ball going into the net.
He can't do that.
He was player of the match, Trevor Chalobah. Is that something that he deserved tonight, given the way he's performed? Coming straight back into the Chelsea team.
Yeah, I think he did a strong performance tonight. I think he deserved to be named man of the match, and he was strong in defense. He had a couple of moments, you know, in the first time when he was not there, you know, in terms of position, but it's normal because he just came back into the team. But I think he made some great impact defensively, but as well up front, you know, on set pieces and corner. And thanks to the defenders tonight, they scored at least 3 goals, 2.5 goals. But they were brilliant tonight, I think, all of them.
It's really important how he played today, and credit to him, because you don't see players really go on loan at that age. Going on loan is something that you do as a young player. When you get to 25, you get sold, really. But to be put on loan, which basically means that the manager and the hierarchy at the club do not think you're good enough, and they've got 4 or 5 other centre-backs.
Maresca said it was a financial decision at the time.
No.
Well, maybe they're still looking for a centre-back because they've got problems there, but the fact that he's still the player, they don't have to go and buy someone, they can bring someone in, I get that. But to go back into that dressing room where he's probably been, him and his agent have probably been a little bit at loggerheads with the club in the summer. I want to go on loan, I want to go to a certain club, what's the transfer fee, all these discussions that go around, players moving on now. And then to almost feel like, you know, I want to show Chelsea, prove them wrong a little bit, and then they bring him back and he puts a performance in like that. So, you know, it wouldn't have been easy for him to go back into that sort of dressing room with everyone thinking, you know, that the club didn't feel he was good enough. So credit to him tonight.
He was playing regular, you know, games, you know, with Crystal Palace. He was enjoying his game so far, you know, from the start of the season. So I wonder what he thought, you know, when Chelsea asked him to come back, because he knows that the competition to earn your first 11 place is very tight, you know, at Chelsea. He knows that there is a couple of defenders, especially central defenders, that are out for injuries. So when they get back, what will happen to him?
Well, you know how quickly things can change in football, right? So, you know, he goes away to Palace.
If he does that kind of performance, you know, it's all about convincing your manager that you have the right to be part of the first 11.
I think managers, if you speak to managers, the thing that frustrates them most is unfulfilled potential of players. And he said he didn't like the fact that the manager came out and spoke publicly. Nobody likes that. But the manager's probably tried everything else. Maybe something being tough on him in training, maybe making him maybe an afternoon session, doing other work, bringing him in on a one-on-one, showing him video clips. He's tried everything, and that's the frustrating thing when they know there's a player there who can actually do more than what they're showing. And what he's shown this season's been good. But the manager actually believes he could be very good and be an absolute superstar. So that's why he's pushing, that's why he's saying, that's why I wanted to ask him and see his reaction from it, because I think when managers react like that and speak about a player like that, it's because they know there's so much more for them. And that's the thing that will really disappoint managers and should disappoint players who they speak about like that when they've got that, that sort of talent. So I think it's really important he keeps sort of honouring him, because I think there's no doubt he's a real talent.
Yeah, I remember at the start of the season, he sent one message, Maresca to Madueke, didn't receive it. He sent a second message, and then the third one, he took him off, from the first team. Yeah. So he sent a great message, to the dressing room, hard decision has to be done, and he did it, Maresca. That's why I think players like Madueke, if they are intelligent enough, humble as well, I think they will learn from it, and they will reach next step.
Of course, he's going to defend his goalkeeper, isn't he?
Of course. It's a victory. Everything is okay after the game. So he made a mistake. But no hard feelings, because they scored 3 goals and they won the game. So this is exactly what they needed, 3 points.
And back into the top 4. How confident would you be, Manu, of Chelsea playing Champions League football next season?
Very confident. I said it at the start of the season. With the quality of the player, and if things goes right, with the management of Maresca, and if the players respond well in a good way, I think they have the quality to finish on the top 4. And I said it even before, after the Christmas time, when they were losing games and the position on the table. I think now no back, on the top 4. So we will see, because maybe the 5th position will be. Qualifying as well for the Champions League.
Increasingly likely, yes. And it's only goal difference. As you can see, keeping Wolves away from the trapdoor right now. And let's show you what they've got to come in the short term. It doesn't get any easier, as you'll see. Arsenal, Villa, Liverpool, Bournemouth and Fulham. The next 5 all in the top half of the table, and then a crunch game against Everton, who are 4 points above Wolves right now. Could it get worse or it gets better, Jamie?
Well, it looks like in terms of the quality of the opposition, he's come in adding that initial impact, as we talk about the manager bounce. But, he came in. We still look at it now, and I still think Wolves might just have enough, really, when I look at that sort of... It looks like there's a little bit of gap between themselves and Everton. Long way to go, of course, but... they'll hope. I think if they're in the same position after those 6 fixtures, they'll be absolutely delighted.
What a player, and what a stellar career. Manu Petit, our special guest on the Monday Night Football tonight, and he just collated these cherry-picked football clubs that all seem so glamorous. When you put them together, it makes for an extraordinary career. Let's have a look at it. Starting out at Monaco, winning a league and cup, and then, of course, to Arsenal with a league and cup double, Barcelona for a season, and then back to Chelsea, where your career ended. And not forgetting this extraordinary career with France as well, 63 caps, World Cup winner, scorer in a World Cup final, and Euro 2000 winner as well. It's not bad, is it, Jamie, when you read it off?
No, it's not. Listen, I only come to remember Emmanuel, obviously at the Arsenal situation. I was a young midfield player myself, just getting into the Liverpool team, and that midfield partnership of Petit and Vieira, that's legendary. That's one of the all-time great midfield partnerships. But
tell us about the young Manu that came through at Monaco. What kind of footballer were you?
I came in Monaco when I was 13 years old. I left my family because I was born and raised in Normandy, in North, France, and I went to the south, the deep south of.
Was that hard?
Quite hard, because the culture was different, and. I come from, people where I come from are very shy, and south of France, they were very outspoken, and the luxury of Monaco was a big contrast as well with what I've been used to, with luxury cars, luxury houses, flats, and beautiful people, and the sea, great restaurants, things like this. So can imagine.
I'm going.
You can imagine how difficult it was for me at the beginning, but I adapt myself, and I love the way that the culture in Monaco, especially the DNA of the club,
But at
Beautiful
13,
football.
what sort of player were you?
I was kind of a rebel, and I was fighting against the power all the time because I was like that on the pitch all the time. This is why I love football, because I was about to give my real identity on the pitch. Outside, I was very shy, and I didn't talk too much. And it got worse, when I lost my brother on the pitch. My oldest brother on the pitch, he died on the pitch, and I lost my best friend as well. He committed suicide. So it was kind of difficult for me to live by myself, in Monaco, and to support everything I had to go through. So I grew up very quickly as a person.
Yeah, it must have had a profound impact on
But-
you, not as a footballer, but as a person.
Yeah, it helped me as well as a player, because back in days, in the academy in Monaco, I was very lucky, my teammates as well, because we had the best manager in the French football history in terms of managing young people, development. And he helped me, he was very hard on me, because this was the quality I could have, on the pitch. I started my career as a number 10, and I scored so many goals, and had to drop when I was 13 during the National Cup with Normandy. We raised the final during the European tournament in 1984. And because our central defender was having a problem with his heart, the manager asked me to play as a central defender. And Monaco was very surprised about that, and they asked me to come and join the academy. And my only regret was that they offered the same things to my brother, and they didn't want to come with me. So my dream would have been to play the spine of the team with my two brothers, because they were better than me on the pitch.
The Petit driving force.
Yes.
So Arsene Wenger arrives at Monaco. Yes. Tell us about the influence that he had on you.
Arsene came straight after, he was managing, the first team. He came from Cannes, and I remember at those moments, Monaco were fighting for the best position on the table. They were playing as well on European scene, and they had great players. And I loved the way the first team played, the DNA of the team, technical football, great skill, movement, with great personality as well. And Arsene had so many injured players, and on Sunday morning, he came to see a game that we played with the academy outside Monaco. And after the game, he came to see me, and he said, starting from tomorrow, you will come with us, and you will train with us, and you will play with us. And I never left the first team. And I know what I want to Arsene as a player, but as well as a human being, because he helped me to discover who I am. And before helping the player, he was acting as a father with me all the time. I loved it. My relationship with him was so tight, and it's funny because most of the former players, every time they saw each other speaking, they always said the father and the son are back, together. So the link with him is very strong, always been very strong, and that's why, we did what we did in Monaco, and when he left to Japan, he came back, after in England. I remember the first page here in the tabloids saying Arsene who, and I knew that he would be successful because of the person first, but his knowledge, and he was ahead of so many managers in terms of diets, training sessions, psychology, things like this. So I knew that he was going to be successful. When he called me back, he saw that I was changing position as well with Monaco, and I was developing myself as a player, but as well as a human being. And I was not shy anymore. My mind was open, and I loved the world where I was living in. And I remember so many discussion talks I had with him. So many things he's done to me when I was at Arsenal. Great things, A difficult time, Jamie. How it can be, for manager to deal with the players, outside football, when you have private matters, and it's hard, to deal by yourself, and you need some helps. And back in days, we had the chance to meet some great people, in football.
Is that what makes, you're talking about the off-the-field stuff with Arsene Wenger, he's obviously a genius on the pitch as well.
Yes.
I mean, what was the actual football side of it that made him different?
I give you one example. I remember him, screaming sometimes at the training session at Arsenal when he first came, saying to, most of the time to the English players, especially defenders, saying that the ball should be on the floor, not in the air.
That would have been to Martin Keown.
He never touched the ball. But no, I love the fact, my time at Arsenal. Why? Because the mix of the different culture, personality. We are a bunch of crazy people, with great strong characters. But we were all tied up all together, with us on the same direction, And Arsene was responsible for that as well, because he knew that he had a huge responsibility as a French manager, because he was not famous. People were questioning who was this guy, coming to manage Arsenal, such a big club. And his relationship as well with Mr. Dean, I think was very important. But after a couple of months, I remember it was not easy at the beginning, I have some memories of him, screaming. He had some fights sometimes with Pat Rice as well, rest in peace, Pat. Because he had to make a point about his vision. And I know that it was kind of difficult, especially for him, but for some foreign players, starting with me. But we stuck on the same direction all together, and then we stick with his ideas, and it worked.
I just said you and Patrick in the midfield is one of the legendary midfield partnerships. I always remember Arsene Wenger speaking about you, because I was playing central midfield as a young player, and more often than not, it was two right-footed players, but it didn't really matter if you played on the right or the left. You mixed or wherever you ended up. But I always remember him speaking about you, about having someone with a left foot in central midfield. I'd never really heard it before, about the passing angles. And it just took me back when I was playing in midfield. You'd always be trying to sort of flick a ball around the corner with the outside of your right foot, whereas a left-footed player, now we hear managers talk about that a lot now, about left-footed centre-backs and the angles and the passing angles now. But that was the first time I'd ever heard a manager speak about sort of a left-footed central midfield player. It was almost vital for him, because after you left, I think maybe Van Bronckhorst came in as well. He always wanted that left-footed. That sort of balance with you on the left foot, Patrick on the right, was special.
We were like a piece of coin. He was black, he is black, I'm white. He's right-footed, I'm left-footed. He liked to run with the ball and break, lines. I like to play long balls. I love to play with my left-footed. And we were playing like brothers, on the pitch. I really loved my time with Patrick. He knows that he will stay in my heart forever, for everything we've done on the pitch, but as well outside the pitch.
Is that you or Ray Parlour?
Yeah, look like her.
Do you think you used to beat some teams before you even got on the pitch, when they would see yourself and Patrick in the tunnel?
I have to say as well, with the whole team, we were very talented, I think. The way we used to play, I think it was great football, And then after that, they became incredible, They were unbeatable for the whole season, and they deserve it because of the way they were playing. But look at the back four as well. I think we couldn't achieve what we've done all together without the back four, typical English with David Seaman and all those English defenders, because they were the spine, They were the how can I say, it was so strong with them, We could travel everywhere. And I remember Tony, Martin, Lee, talking to our ears, before the games, giving to us some advice. I remember a game, especially away from home at Wimbledon, when we left the dressing room, and Patrick and I, we were talking in the tunnel, before entering into the pitch. I remember Tony came to us and he said, he was, the way he was acting sometimes, he was touching his socks, looking at like this, with a great posture, And he looked at us and he said, guys, today, forget playing football. Huh? the balls will be in the air all the time. So watch around you because at any second they can break you. You can stay on the floor. And this is exactly what happened, during the game. So I loved it every single minute over there. Yeah.
Got some good news. Pat Rice sends his best. He's not actually no longer with us. he's alive and kicking.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, I had two versions of that.
What did I say?
Rest in peace, Pat Rice. But
Oh, sorry, Pat.
No, he's alive and
I'm confused with.
I heard two
my
versions of that.
Don't worry.
I'm so sorry,
It's
Pat.
a good news story. So that's.
I'm so sorry. But I made a mistake. Sorry.
We are talking.
Stop it.
Alan Brazil.
Yeah. That's why, That's why you won the double.
We're talking now about this run. We mentioned it earlier and where you found yourselves.
Yeah.
Christmas Day 1997. And if this was now, we
Yeah.
would look at that and say, well, there's absolutely no chance that Arsenal are going to win the title.
No, listen, I mean, you know better than me, but when you look at the sort of the teams now and maybe the points totals that they get and you think of the runs that they go on, as you did in the second half of the season, more often than not now, if that's a Manchester City at the top or Liverpool of the last 4 or 5 years, it'd be really difficult to come back from that. It was a different time then?
Well, that's what I said to you at the start of the show.
But this run, Manu, when did you start to believe, do you think? At what point?
Well, I think we took game after game, And I remember after the Christmas time, we started to be, it was kind of difficult the first few weeks, to get the real connection on the pitch with what we wanted to do all together. But we knew that we had confidence on the manager, on his vision as well. So the way, and we knew as well that we had great qualities, on every lines, and great leadership as well in right, for example, Dennis Bergkamp, those guys, they can make difference, with Nicolas Anelka as well, so things like this. So we knew that all of a sudden when everything could click all together, we could be, a very, very difficult team to beat. And this is exactly what happened. We took confidence game after game, and we didn't look, ahead. We didn't look at Manchester United. We just tried to concentrate on our game and try to win every single game.
You needed goals from all areas of the pitch, and you were getting them, including from yourself, Manu. Remember this one? Against Derby
That was
County?
against...
Derby?
No, I think
wow.
this
Hey, it wasn't a bad
away
one.
from home. I think that was against Middlesbrough, no?
No.
No?
No.
Because against Derby, it was a long strike as well, but not
I can assure you that's Derby.
That's Derby?
Yeah, that's Derby.
I'm so
There is Mark
my
Poon.
memory.
He was in goal for Derby, definitely.
Yeah.
It was a brilliant
that's
goal.
against Derby, but
It's
I
definitely not
remember
Pat Rice.
the game in hand we had to play in midweek. It was on Wednesday night at Highbury, and we won 1-0. It was against Bolton.
There we go.
There you go.
We don't have that one.
No, we haven't.
But
I'm confused in my memories, I took some pills sometimes,
You confused Pat Rice's family as well tonight. Can you imagine the phone calls?
Pat, are you okay?
Yeah, is he
He's okay. Best wishes, by the way. Happy New Year.
sorry.
His poor son and daughter phoning his mum. Is that okay?
Excuse me. Right. Let's have a look at Manu's best 11. This is a team that you picked back in 2015. Your best teammates 11.
Wow.
So a lot of contentious decisions.
Yeah.
Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank's going to be on, that's for sure. He hasn't made the cut. We did give you the chance to change any players.
I could put Patrick as well. I could
Patrick
change the
misses out.
organization of the team as well, but I played with so many great players, so...
Amazing.
I am shocked by a couple of the names.
Go on.
For me, for me, John Terry is one of the greatest central defenders. Always said one of the
Puyol
best.
was not bad as well.
I'm thinking of Tony
Tony
Adams.
Adams as well.
So you think? I mean, I've always been a huge John Terry fan. I mean, that's a big decision. Yeah.
I can only take 11 players,
Yeah.
So even in midfield, Patrick, even Frank Lampard, for example, those guys.
So why Xavi?
Xavi, there is only one Xavi, I think Xavi in his position, I think...
It was amazing.
Well, you saw him close up for one season. What
Yeah,
did
he
you see
started
in him?
with us in Barcelona. He trained sometime with us, and with Puyol as well. He was Puyol was a little bit ahead of him in terms of maturity, but Xavi, you know, you could see that he had something different. You know, his intelligence, his ability, you know, the technical skills, the intelligence, the personality as well. You know, this is the DNA of Barcelona. You know, and Guardiola used to play in this position as well. He was playing like a number 5, but as a holding midfielder, you know, number 10, you know.
Yeah.
He was controlling the rhythm. You know, when you look back, you know, with Barcelona, the best season they had so far, and they had so many great seasons over there. But with Messi and Iniesta, when they were unbeatable, you know. Look, when they won against Manchester United in the Champions League final, they were so good. And this guy could do whatever he wanted with the ball, but as well, you know, the inspiration into the game he made, you know, it changed. I think it changed completely the way some teams play, you know, after that, after Xavi and the lack of Iniesta, for example. You know, changed so many things in midfield, you know.
Them two defenders who I absolutely adore, Desai and Thuram. Desai gets a lot of love maybe because he was more of a central defender, but Thuram at right back, he could play centre back as well and right back, and he was more than just a defender. He was a great footballer and played a big part
Just
in
like
the World
you,
Cup.
Jamie.
I was more like Keown.
Nowadays, this is something, you know, we have to say it, you know.
No, we haven't got time.
I mean, nowadays, defenders are not proper and typical defenders. Back in days, when you were talking about defenders in Manchester United, Liverpool, Arsenal, the national team, Thuram, 1-against-1, Desai, John Terry, those guys, you know, you cannot pass them. It's impossible. They are proper defenders. They fight for the ball. It's a nightmare for strikers.
Tell us about George Weah.
George, he became president of his country. Can you imagine? Destiny of this guy, you know. He arrived in Monaco, he was almost walking without a shoe, you know. I remember the first time he trained with us in Monaco. We look at ourselves thinking, who's that big guy, you know? We didn't even know his name, you know. And after 1 hour training with us, we were looking at each other, what is this guy? He was so skillful, you know. He was strong, powerful physically, but so technical. And his movement, he was dancing with the ball, you know, all the time. It was almost unpredictable every time he got the ball, you know. So for a defender, it was a disaster to mark because he was only based, you know, on the instinct, you know, on the pitch. And he was playing typical African football, you know, dancing, you know, movement, you know. He was flirting with the ball all the time. The touches he had with the ball was great. And on top of it, when you put the resistance, but as well, you know, the strength, the physical strength, he was so powerful with his run. Great striker.
We've had to make you work hard for this because the fact is you played with so many incredible footballers across these 4 clubs and also your country. So we made an alternative.
Not bad, this one as well, huh?
I mean, it just shows the quality. There are a couple of names that leap out. We talked about Tony Adams and Patrick Vieira, but Glenn Hoddle.
Glenn, yeah.
When you were playing at Monaco, what kind of player was he at that stage?
He played.
How much an inspiration was he to you?
We had as well Mark Atley. I don't know if you remember him.
Yeah.
We call him Attila. He was very strong up front, but Glenn was the glamorous touch, you know. He was not a typical English players, you know, back in days. Very technical, very soft with the ball, you know, and his vision, his technical abilities as well. I think I loved, and he was such a gentleman as well, on and off the pitch. So I was so lucky when I started my career, you know, to meet those kind of players, you know, because they helped me like fathers, all them, you know. I was so young, and they were all protecting me. And Glenn, He used to come often. I didn't speak a lot, you know, and I started, you know, to try to speak English as well back in days. And Glenn was such a gentleman. I loved my time with him, and I met him a couple of times, you know, recently, and I'm very happy with that. So he made a huge impact, you know, in Monaco, and it was typical of, as I said before, DNA of Monaco. The way, you know, we used to play with the ball on the floor, you know, great movement, great passing, vision, things like this, you know. I loved my time there, and Glenn was part of it.
So an amazing collection of teammates. If you had to pick one as your favourite teammate, who would that be?
I would say Patrick. Definitely. For what we've done, yeah, Patrick, yeah.
Yeah, we were talking before, Manu, and I asked you why you didn't.
Probably William as well, William Gallas.
And William Gallas.
Yeah,
You can
we
have
are
them all
very
if you
close,
like.
very close friends. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we were talking before about why you didn't go into coaching. Someone who's played such an amazing career, glittering career, scoring in a World Cup final.
Is it a question or?
Well, I just thought actually I should probably ask you about the World Cup final first before we wrap up. Just tell us about that moment, the
World Cup?
winning the World Cup for your country. Is that on the pedestal of everything?
I told you before, you know, I lost many finals, you know, and when I look at my pedigree, I won some titles, but I should have won more than that, much more. And winning the World Cup is beyond football. It touched every single heart in your country, even those people who don't like football. It's beyond politics. It builds bridges, you know, between people. When I remember, you know, straight after the World Cup final, millions of people on the Champs-Élysées in Paris, that was probably the last time I saw my country happy all together. Black, white, Jewish, Arabs, things like this, I don't care. Football reunites people. This is the strength of football, you know, and I loved it. Look at our team, full of different culture, personality, all fighting for the same things.
Mm.
So why didn't you become a coach?
I love football. It's probably my dearest, you know, passion in my life. But there is something more important than football for me. It's life. When you're a manager, you don't live anymore. You're in a washing machine, 24 hours per day, 30 months per year. So I love football, but I don't have the strength to forget my family, to forget my friends, and to forget my life.
Yeah, resonates. Mm. Thank you, Manu.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed having you.
And sorry, Patson.
Maybe give him a call. Maybe give him a call on the way. Reminisce.
Hello, Manu. Brilliant. One of the
Manu
iconic
Petit.
moments of being football this year.
I'm so confused. I'm so.
Our very special guest tonight, Manu Petit.